Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, and certified lifestyle coach. And we have a great topic for you today and a bonus if you hang around. Because if you hang around, you're going to get to see the benefits of a global sandbox. What happens when our mindset shifts from local sandbox to a global sandbox? Sounds interesting? Let me share with you my mentor, one of my mentors, Daniel Priestley, helped me to understand this valuable mindset shift because before my stroke, I was working a lot and I was not getting very far. Didn't have systems and processes with my business, chasing the local sandbox, and didn't realize that the world had changed and I needed to change with it. And understanding that I could create demand leads in a different sandbox and play in the global sandbox changed everything. So let me share with you, if you don't have these three together, you're going to be either going out of business or you might as well consider it a hobby. Because if you can't create demand for your business, which is leads, you have no business. Leads are your life and blood of your business. It generates generating leads creates cash flow, and you build a thriving business community. We do it within school. So we generate leads, demand, we create cash flow, and we build thriving school communities. So let's go to the next slide. Let me make this a little bit bigger because you have to kind of see a little bit of this. Okay, we are limited in the local sandbox to 140 people that know, like, and trust us. Imagine this. You see a crowd of 100 people across the street, but there's one person you can identify because you're familiar with that. You know, like, and trust that person. So that person stands out because the brain naturally repels stuff. Because if it didn't, your brain would blow up with too much information. So it only is familiar and will recognize somebody that's in your 140 people in the know, like, and trust circle of your sandbox. So when you see that, and you can see it in anything, like you buy a red car, now you see red cars all over the place because you're familiar with that. Your brain is. It is able to identify out of a crowd what it's familiar with. So we have 140 people. That's our local sandbox. That is the people that know, like, and trust you. So that's the demand you have for whatever you're doing, because people will not do business with you unless they trust you. So if you get to know, like, and trust people in that 140, that's the demand that you have for your business. Now, if you can change your mindset, and now you're playing in the global sandbox, what does that mean? That means that today, we're not just local, we're global. So if I'm creating demand in the global sandbox, which is 5,000 to 1 billion people, now you're able to generate better cash flow, more demand for your product and service, and you're going to build a thriving business because everybody's got to go on a journey with you online. And that's what Daniel Priestley will talk about. 7-11-4. 7 hours of time that they're getting to know you. They're making 11 buying signals or interest signals. And they see you on 4 different platforms. And what does that mean? A podcast, a workshop, a webinar, a LinkedIn post, a Instagram post. They're seeing you on different platforms. When that happens, your brain just clicks to know, like, and trust. Remember years ago, I don't know when it was exactly, but when Steve Jobs passed away, it was like people lost a brother because they knew him, they liked him, and his impact on their journey was so impactful that they felt the loss. They never knew him personally, only through his online products and services. That's where you want to play in that global sandbox. So people go on there, they listen to you on a podcast and they say, oh, man, that guy's or that girl's pretty interesting. Now they want to know more. So they look at more stuff that you have. And if you're just thinking that your website is enough for people to get to know, like, and trust you, you're missing great opportunity because people's time, the attention span is shrunk. I think it's now 8 seconds. It's smaller than a goldfish now. We're watching too many TikTok videos. Our attention span keeps shrinking. So they're not going to go looking at your website to try to find all their information. It's got to be front and center. Go search my name, Pete Kane, put the word podcast. That's kind of like my middle initial, and see what's out there. There's 5 pages as of this recording of Google. 5. Used to be, if you could have 3 listings on the first page of Google, when I had my digital marketing business, that was great. 3 out of 7, you were just golden. Now, it's changed. They love Google, and the search engines love video content. So when you do a podcast, I could do one today, and it'll show up tomorrow in that profile of that person because we just put a little information on it, and all of a sudden people can get to know you, like you, and trust you. So if you can figure 5,000 people that are getting to know you, like you, and trust you, the demand that you're creating is a whole lot more than the 140 that you're playing in the local sandbox. And it can go up to billions because people could be watching this halfway around the world. They could be getting to know you halfway around the world. So if you're, and I often tell my friends who are in BNI, you're playing the wrong game. You're playing a local sandbox game because I can search a person and I can see virtually nothing. I can see a couple things out there. And time is so critical for you to build your online presence, to give people an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you. And when they do that, they're going to be more apt to do business with you because everybody online is going through a journey and you want them to go on a journey with you. That's why creating content, that's why 5 pages of Google is better than 3 listings on the first page. They used to always say, let me think about what it is. It's like, where do you find a dead body? On the second page of Google. It's a ghost town. People don't go there. They look on that first page, and that's where they get their information. They make their decision. So if you're on that second page, you're a well-kept secret. It's changed some, and people need to know you better. And when they get to know you better, there's an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust. With AI and all the content that's being created, if you simply become a key person of influence online and give people an opportunity, 5,000 to 1 billion people, to go on that journey with you, you're creating massive demand for you. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit about Daniel Priestley's philosophy. That's why on the thumbnail, I'm shaking hands with him, and it says local to global sandbox is get you to think global. Think global because the world changed. Now, I had an electrician about a year ago, maybe less. He said, I can't run trucks all over the world. And he's true. He's right. But he's been building his business for 5+ years. His journey could be very beneficial to a person just starting out because he's done it. He's built his business locally. Now he can shine out globally for that digital opportunity. And the digital opportunity is bigger than the local opportunity. So think differently, and the world is your oyster. Think of abundance. Think of creating a profile for you, because people have to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And that can happen on a journey online. 7 hours, 11 buying signals, interest signals, and 4 different platforms. All right, let's go to this. Hold on here. Let me remove this and let me add this. Okay, I'm going to go over to just right here so I can be with you. Okay, the bridge to freedom. We talk about our 6 freedoms: time, health, wealth, creative, location, and travel. That's what we work on. And the fuel to that rocket of freedom is personal growth. We use Growth Day. Every single day, I'm taking a shower mentally. And a lot of times, we take physical showers. We got to clean ourselves. Okay? What about cleaning this? What about personal growth? Because if you're taking that mental shower and you're learning, you're growing, your business will grow. Without you growing personally, your business won't grow. So moving from chaos to clarity through product market fit. I'm going to go a little deeper into Daniel Priestley's philosophy of 7-11-4. So let me go. The destination, a lifestyle asset. And look, assets are different than activities. I go to a meeting, that's an activity. I do a podcast and create an asset, that's more valuable because it doesn't go away. It's going to grow over time. 5 years from now, people could be still watching your content you created today. Once you go to a meeting, it's over. Once you go to a lunch, it's over. Great to get together, but notice and be aware of the difference between an asset and an activity. Now, we talk about time freedom. That's your most important one because you only have 24 hours. How you use your time can help you unlock more health freedom, because if you're managing or using your time differently than most, I batch my time, I schedule everything, I do 3 days in one. So I do 3 5-hour days. That's just how I approach my time freedom. And I have plenty of time. My daughter needed me to pick up the kids, my grandkids, her daughters at school. No problem. I did it. I had fun with them. If you're so busy and you can't have the freedom to fill your heart with things that matter, burnout is right around the corner. Okay. Location freedom. What do we mean by that? Location freedom is working from anywhere you want. If I wanted to work in Paris, France, I could. If I want to work in the Caribbean, I could. Because what we do in our business gives me complete location freedom. I don't have to be in a specific place to create this content, to coach, to allow myself to have that freedom. I can do it anywhere. When you look at health freedom, health is making those choices. We only have one asset. I mean, we only have our most important asset, our body. Can't trade it in. Yeah, you can get a knee replacement, shoulder replacement, and all the other things, but take care of your most valuable asset. Put the time in to prioritize going to the gym. I go 6 days a week and I go to PT 1 day a week for 2 hours. Now, why do I do that? Well, I don't run like most, and we all want to keep our body active. So I can't run around the block like most, so I'm on the bike for 30 minutes. And what I've done to create that we call it atomic habit, like stacking habits. I know when I go, I'm listening, I'm meditating, I'm focusing, I'm learning, and I'm specifically learning a topic. But I close my eyes and I meditate on that content. So it sharpens my focus, allows me that I can go anytime during the day. When I find out that day that this is going to be the time where maybe my energy is going to go down a little bit because I get up at 3:34, then I'll go to the gym and it'll just re-energize because we generate energy. We don't just, it doesn't fall out of the sky. We have to be intentional about it. So that's how I approach my health is I prioritize doing things and I stack habits to be able to look forward to going. Most don't. I love going. I meet people. I talk to people. I focus. I meditate. I learn. And I get healthy. Okay. Wealth freedom. This is a real important one because one of my clients said, I want to be a millionaire. What does that mean? I want freedom. Well, freedom can be closer than you think. Because if you set that millionaire status, and that's just in our mind, we think, well, I want to have enough money to enjoy my lifestyle. What if your overhead was $5,000 and you had $6,000 of reoccurring income coming in? You're free. If at the beginning of the month, you know you have $6,000 coming in, you're free. Free to do more with that lifestyle that's possible. Free to travel. Free to work from anywhere else. Free to prioritize your health. Free to work on that time freedom where you batch 3 5-hour days. That didn't happen overnight. It happened really over 40 years, but intensely over the last 3 to 4. And that has given me a joy that I've never had before because I can go pick up my grandkids if needed. I can drop and have lunch with a person that maybe said, like a friend of mine texted me in the morning, said, hey, what are you doing for lunch? I said, I'm just creating content. And he said, do you want to join me at Bonan's? I said, yes, absolutely. And I did. I texted another person the other day, hey, how about lunch today? Nah, I'm too busy. If you're too busy to fill your heart, you're getting closer to burnout. So having that time freedom allows you to do what you want, when you want it, to fill you based on your priorities. That's what we teach. Creative freedom. I have never been more leaning into my creative freedom than the last 4 years. I do 3 things. That's it. I create courses, and that's the systems and processes. I do podcasting, and I am a high performance lifestyle coach. So those 3 things is what I focus on. So I'm always learning and growing in those 3 areas. And the rest, Trexa and Rolando, our team that we have to support you and myself, are there to do what they do best, to support. They're young, They're tech savvy, they're AI trained, and the beautiful thing, they're 13 hours different. So whatever I talk about that day, the next day, it can be done when I wake up. So it's a beautiful time zone freedom. And the last one's travel. I like my friend Jerry Boaz and his wife, Mary Jane. They have a thing called chasing history. They go to places that they've read about that they're interested in, and they're able to put themselves in that place. So it's kind of like I was talking to my friend George. You go to the Eiffel Tower, you've read about it in a magazine, but now you're standing there. You go to a place in history that you've only read about, but now you're experiencing it. You're connecting with that place. It's a different mindset, and a one that you love because you're connecting more with history, and that travel becomes different. You're not thinking about what it takes to get there. So the goal of any business is to serve your life, not a life that serves your business. Geographic freedom, passion-based, high profitability of reoccurring. So the gap, why are you misaligned? That's where you have to get product marketing fit. Look at the customer, the magic, the transformation. Like, what does a customer want? Transformational life, emotional benefits, faster, cheaper, better. And you're going to put them in the entrepreneurial movie, the systems, the low stress, the scalability, the autopilot, no drama. That's what you're looking for. Until these two movies merge, the business will always feel like a struggle. More on stop playing in the wrong sandbox. Look at that restriction, 140 people that know, like, and trust you. It's a small box. Look at the global sandbox. Is that beautiful? Billions of people, potential growth, scaling system. That's what's possible when you go from the local sandbox to the global sandbox. 140 people to 5,000 to a billion people. That's the demand that's possible. That's the mindset shift that's possible. But if we constantly play with our time in the local sandbox, we miss the biggest sandbox, the global one. Fuel for the journey, the mental shower. This is so critical. Think of a shower as sharpening your saw. What I'm doing each day is daily coaching from the 5 to Thrive. Brendan Bouchard is coaching me. My other main mentor is coaching me every day. Every day I take a mental shower. Every day it reinforces with a question that relates to the topic that day. And that thought-provoking question keeps us thinking of what's possible. And then I identify my big rocks. What are the big rocks that are going to move me forward? Not just things I check off, but what big rocks make a biggest impact on my journey? And then I score myself. You have to score yourself because you don't measure yourself. How do you know if you're improving? Then the last thing we do is, what are we grateful for? What are you grateful for? That helps you stay in a better mindset, helps you to keep that mental shower, sharpening that saw in gratitude, which is so critical to our development. We won't grow our business beyond our own personal growth. You grow, your business will grow. We talk about the rocket, and the fuel to the rocket is personal growth, your personal growth through Growth Day. So when you look at your ideal customer persona, and then you take your intellectual properties. You want to have assets, properties, intellectual properties, and you put that together. Ooh, it's like the best music for the symphony because you are now aligned with your ideal product marketing fit. So, how do we get there? Step one. First, you got to ask 5 magical questions: your current situation, desired outcome, frustration and obstacle, what's your budget, and anything else. That gets into the mindset of your prospect. Then, when you look at the survey for existing customers, you always want to do, how would you feel if we no longer existed? Do they miss you if you were to be gone? If that's the case, you know you're valuable to them. So that experience too is, how can we improve the score by just 1 point? So if you're a 7, how do I become an 8? And they'll tell you, because if they tell you, you know how you can move them. Okay. Radical improvement of the offer. We have 3 offers, and we recommend 3 offers: a bronze, silver, and gold. Your bronze is the basic low cost, the lowest point of entry where somebody can get involved with you. The silver is your sweet spot. That's our silver plan. Our bronze is our coaching, group coaching in the school community. So we're going to connect you with people you need to meet, podcast guests, people you need to meet, and we're going to connect you in the school. And then the gold, which is at this current time, it's $10,000 a month, is the white glove. That is done for you. That is the best possible service that we can provide for you. And that is a limited number. There's only 4 there. There's 11 in the silver, and the group is based on groups of 20, and where we can transform you from start to finish in a 30-day sprint within school. Okay, the validation protocol. This is how you validate your product marketing fit. Don't go out and spend a lot of money on a website and all this other stuff that makes you feel good, but doesn't put any money in your pocket. You got to validate your service. Do 30 meetings. Present. Have something you present to somebody and say, would you want to invest in yourself to solve this problem? If 3 people say yes, you've got the start of your business. I had somebody that spent months and months and months creating this elaborate system. Not one customer. How do you know if it's valid or not? You spend months and months creating something, and you don't even know if anybody's going to spend any money. That's a recipe for burnout and disaster. So 30 days later, the disappointment test. This is what we talk about. Would you be disappointed if we took this away? If it's yes, you've got yourself a valid business. Scalable truth. Do things that don't scale. That, at the moment, your product marketing fit, you feel enormous pressure. Customers will be demanding. This is a good problem. You figure out how to scale after you figure out how to satisfy those 3 people. Pull it away. If they miss it, you got something solid. But validate it first, because if you scale before you do that, it's a recipe for disaster. So this is just the entrepreneurial life cycle. I'm just going to touch on this, but you have different cycles within the key person of influence journey. And we'll go into that later, but I feel that I want to give you the meat to this, and I'm going to offer for you to join our school community. And if you're a person that needs clarity, if you need clarity, because you're going to get You're going to master chaos. If you're distracted, you just haven't got clear on where you want to go, there's an opportunity. So let me go to here. Hold on here. Okay. Let me go back to here. Okay. Generate demand. That's your leads. Create cash flow and build thriving communities. You can go, let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller. Yeah. Go to the QR code, join our community. When you join, you're going to get a free gift. You can pick either High Performance Habits Mastery course, which is a $300 course, or you can pick Journaling for Personal Freedom. One of those is free for joining because we want to help you on your journey to be free. The six freedoms: time, health, wealth, creative, location, and travel. And let me put up here on here. Let me see here. Let me put up here about booking a clarity session. Okay. Hold on here. I think I do have, I like this ticker. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I'll put it up there. You can join our school community to scan the QR code or go to pkane.me/school. Book a clarity session. I'll put up here on the QR code. I love these. Okay. Now I just changed the QR code. So you want to book a clarity session? Go to pkane.me/clarity or scan the QR code. You get a gift after you schedule your clarity call and do it. The future is bright. The future is abundant, but you got to be intentional about that journey. The freedom journey is possible. You're the fuel. Lean into personal growth. You get personal growth with our journey. So be bold, make an impact,